confused about what society looks like if that happens. So I'm like most interested in the capabilities questions, but I feel like maybe at this point, more people should be talking about like, how do we make sure society gets the value out of this? I think those questions have somehow become harder and less clear. This is a crazy statement. Yeah. That like, we're going to solve the super intelligence, but maybe society still sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't tell.
Doesn't feel right to me, but like.
I can't tell if sometimes with some of these statements that people don't react because they only kind of believe it. And maybe that's part of why, but I agree. I mean, that's what, the history of a lot of this stuff has been. It like gets said, people don't quite believe it, and then it happens, and then people just kind of adjust. So I don't know what to make of all of that either.
I feel like we've been very right on the technical predictions, and then I somehow thought society would feel more different if we actually delivered on them than it does so far. But it's not even obvious that that's a bad thing.
Well, one of the more obvious short-term impacts will be potentially, or you'd think, would be like employment. That seems like something that like we don't need, like, we don't need to believe crazy leaps to see that there ought to be some impact. Like this is going to happen in customer support very obviously right now, for example.
Yeah. I mean, my take on this is a lot of jobs will go away. A lot of jobs will just change dramatically. But we have always been really good at figuring out new things to do and ways to occupy ourselves and status games or ways to be useful to each other. And I'm like not a believer that ever runs out.
Yeah.
I do think it gets maybe sillier and sillier looking from our current perspective.
Yeah.
Like Podcast Bro was not a real job not that long ago, and you figured out how to monetize it and you're doing great and we're all happy for you.
We're so happy.
But would like the subsistence farmer look at this and say this was a job, or this is you like playing a game to entertain yourself?
I think they would subscribe to this podcast.
I bet they would.
They would like it. But I do think that there is like a big issue here in the short term. I think long term, who knows? I mean, one of the things that I'm curious about is in general, so like going from a time when like everybody was a farmer and like nothing that we're currently doing makes any sense to like now you have all this stuff. Is it different this time if there's enough resources to go around? Like at some point, are there enough resources to go around, and like that's what creates the difference where now people just like don't make new jobs? And this, so Vinod was on the podcast last week. We're going to release this one first, so this won't be out by the time that this is said. But his point was that people will just consume a lot more leisure. So he kind of took the view of like, I think this time, like there's just going to be an abundance of resources. Everybody's going to have the stuff that they need. We're going to be able to build, buildings, and people can now just like enjoy their lives.
Again, I think like the relativistic framing matters here. To us, I bet it will look like those people are just consuming crazy amounts of leisure.
I guess this looks like a lot of leisure.
But look at you in that beautiful $2,000 lower piano sweater and doing hosting this ridiculous
This is a
podcast.
regular sweater.
So yeah, I think the relativistic point is really important. But like, to us, our jobs feel incredibly important and stressful and satisfying. And if we're all just making better entertainment for each other in the future, maybe that's kind of what at least one of us is doing right now.
That's right. That's exactly. All right, let's change gears. I don't like where this is going. Let's talk about OpenAI.
A good thing about our brothers, they can really call you out on your bullshit.
It's really helpful. I appreciate it. Can we talk about OpenAI?
Yes.
Thank you.